Coming up, the King of Pop returns from the grave to excite young gamers. And dazzle unsuspecting dogs everywhere. Good moonwalk on rough ground too. We throw some shapes, but out on the track. Yes, we review F1 2010. We celebrate the launch of PlayStation Move and take a look at how it plays with SOCOM Special Forces. Oh, and we pick out our top 5 Tokyo Game Show highlights. It seems as a bumper year for racing games. And certainly the most anticipated by Formula One fans is F1 2010. But can Codemasters do what no one has done before and make a version of the sport that satisfies both this hardcore and more casual speedsters alike? So brilliantly realised and buzzing with activity are the off-track environments, the paddock where your agent waits, and the pit garage where the engineers tinker. You'll forget they're just glorified menus.
Starter up, car to track.
And you'll hit the track already immersed in the world of F1. It's then that the sounds hit you. Your car doesn't just roar, it rattles, growls and thumps. Scary. But if you're hoping for the soothing tones of a TV commentator to calm your nerves, forget it. All you've got is the banal pit engineer.
Be aware you've picked up some gravel on the tyres. You'll lose some grip until it wears off.
Thanks. The tracks themselves are, of course, just like you see them on TV. But they can only be as exciting as the real thing. And some, like Bahrain, are unavoidably stark. Ironically, it's when the rain starts that the visuals really shine. Puddles form unevenly, spray blinds, and eventually tyres will gradually and authentically clear the racing line, but not yet. The obligatory post-race replays may even have the cinematic edge over GT5s. There's lots of controls, but better still, they're set to a soundtrack of contemporary music from the likes of Benjamin. We like. We did have a few niggles with the display though. The colour of the circuit map in the bottom left corner often matches the colour of the track, making it very difficult to read, especially at 200 miles an hour. And we would have preferred all the on-screen text to be larger, because we're old and going blind.
Welcome to Formula One. You must be looking forward to getting your first season underway. Could you please give us a few details for those watching at home?
Your career begins with you joining one of F1's weaker teams.
Welcome to your new team. I'm Gabrielle, your agent. I'll be handling the legal side of your affairs as well as keeping you up to date with what's going on in the world of Formula One.
Obviously, your key objective is to become the world champion driver, and you do that by heading out on the track and showing everybody what you're made of. The season structure, of course, is the same as real F1. 19 races, beginning in Bahrain, taking in Monaco. What you can alter is race length. The minimum is about 10 laps, and difficulty, there's 4 settings. At each event, there's practice, and qualifying sessions, and of course, the race itself. The potentially boring stuff of setting up the car and choosing race strategy is brought to life by the intuitive 3D pit garage interface, where your crew reside.
Hey, I want to talk to you about strategy and tyres.
Select the race engineer to change car setup. On easy mode, this is as simple as shifting a slider to set for the appropriate weather conditions. On higher difficulty settings, you can tweak downforce, top speed and handling. During practice, the engineer sets objectives, usually time targets, which, if achieved, unlock car upgrades. Another key element in the garage is the driver monitor. It shows weather forecasts and track info. Remember, weather can change at any time. And then, during practice and qualifying, it shows the leaderboard and allows you to fast forward. On dry days, towards the end of qualifying, there's likely to be more grip on the track. Good, but also possibly more cars.
Starter up, car to track.
Damn, why is life never simple? Then you're out on the track and it's largely up to you, though you will get some instructions from the race engineer, like when to pit. You have no control of the car in the pit lane, but the stops do look good. The other factor which determines the progress of your career is your performance with the media.
There's no refueling during the race this season, so how much of a difference has that heavier load made to the way the car handles?
Each post-race interview question has 3 possible answers, one positive, another non-committal, and a third negative. We've chosen the negative answer, that the car performs poorly on a full tank. Why? Because we like to ruffle feathers.
Hey, the team want to know what you're playing at. Talking about them like that in the press?
As your driving improves, raising your standing, the options open up for you to use interviews to influence the performance of your team. For example, put pressure on the second driver to raise his game, or guide where R&D money is spent. Original, intuitive and apt. We like this feature a lot.
The team say your performance is okay.
It made the career mode satisfying and surprising. We'll continue our review of F1 2010 later in the show. Recently, the world and his dog made their way to Japan for the Tokyo Game Show. And when they got there, they found shouting, "Look at me, look at me," were quite literally hundreds of new game trailers. We forced ourselves to look at them all, and here's our top 5. At 5, Devil May Cry.
Young Offenders Rehabilitation Program. Subject 64432B. Psycho-evaluation treatment. Day 13. Resume. What is your name?
Though we like the younger, meaner Dante and the modern stylings, we can't help but feel that the guys and gals at Ninja Theory responsible for this franchise reboot may just have been playing quite a lot of Bayonetta.
I will ask you again.
At 4, 2 of our favourite ever games are coming back to life. Yep, Ico and Shadow of the Colossus are getting a minor facelift for release on the PS3, and here's the proof. Simpler times. At 3, the creators of Resident Evil and No More Heroes team up for Shadow of the Damned.
Let the bloodbath begin!
About a man who goes to hell to rescue his love. It's a kind of cyberpunk Dante's Inferno, starring a Spanish David Beckham. Well, he does have a lot of tattoos.
My name is Garcia Hotspur, hunter of demons. My wrath is your hell!
And our second favourite TGS highlight was this. Yep, the creators of Metal Gear Solid Rising took to the stage to chop up some fruit. Apparently, collecting parts from the dismembered bodies of cyborgs and robots is going to be a key gameplay feature. And Zandatsu, which literally means cut and take, is going to be how you do it. Oh God, I hate those little robots. Go on, slice it, slice it! We'll reveal what our favourite TGS highlight was a little later in the show. In what was possibly the most unheralded hardware launch we can remember, PlayStation Move recently arrived in shops everywhere. Sony hopes the new motion controller will give its PS3 the Wii factor and attract a new audience of more casual players to its super console. But even the biggest fanboys could find little to get excited by in the first batch of Move titles. More interesting is how Move will be used in future PS3 blockbuster games, like SOCOM Special Forces, due early 2011.
Mercy.
Well, we wanted to approach the Move controller in SOCOM Special Forces really as a way to play the entire game.
Hotel 6-4, this is Fisher 2, who's on the ground?
At one point we explored some gimmicky things here and there, maybe a little mini game, but at the end of the day, the key thing I think gamers want, particularly hardcore gamers when it comes to motion controls, is really being able to experience the full product.
Go!
Objective complete, sir.
Anything you can do with the standard DualShock controller, you can do with the PlayStation Move controller. You can play the whole game, all modes, with the PlayStation Move.
Don't know his name, sir. I heard he was responsible for that business in the cargo.
Any other friendly assets, report in.
So the way the PlayStation Move controller is used in SOCOM Special Forces, if you're right-handed, you would generally hold it with your right hand, and this is used for moving the reticle on screen. You line up your targets this way, and you also will turn the camera when the reticle gets near the screen borders. You do the firing with the trigger here, and you have the move button on top, which you use to aim in. And this also helps you steady the controller and your precision aim when you're trying to line up targets. It's a great way to get those steady shots. We also replicate the normal buttons from the DualShock controller, so you have your jumping, your reload, your stance change, and the ability to take cover. In my left hand here I have the navigation controller. I use the analog stick here to move the character around. I can press in on L3 to sprint. I have my grenade quick throw here, and I can hold it for a precision throw. I can switch weapons here. And then I have all my teammate commands here on the D-pad. And you see that 2 of the face buttons are replicated here. Now in terms of gestures, the main gesture we're focusing on for SOCOM Special Forces is the close quarters knife kill, where you really get up close and you see that knife go into the bad guys. I do that by simply jabbing the controller forward. It allows the player to do this without having to hold down some sort of a toggle key. It means the player can do this without the camera going wild. When you start to get into other gestures, it requires more input, but the key thing, again, in a competitive title like SOCOM, is we want each and every gesture that the player has access to be just as fast, if not quicker, than how they would do it utilizing the DualShock.
Still to come, the conclusion of our SOCOM Special Forces demo. And we deliver our verdict on F1 2010.